Many boats up to about the 30-foot range will be well served by a length of 3-strand nylon anchor line, a 6 to perhaps 20-foot piece of chain, and a correctly sized anchor. Things get a bit trickier if you want to use a windlass, since windlasses do not deal well with the thimble and shackle that join the line and chain together. However, about 25 years ago, a windlass manufacturer came up with a combination rope-chain gypsy that allows you to pull the anchor rod in one continuous operation.
So Chuck, the trick is that you have to make a splice between the chain and the line that will pass around the gypsy. Now here's an area where you have 3 choices. Number 1, you can buy a pre-spliced rod from West Marine. Number 2, you can order a custom rod from West Marine Rigging that combines virtually any line with any chain. Or third, you can make it yourself. So Chuck, is it difficult to make a rope to chain splice?
The splice is really similar to any 3-strand I-splice, but since the security of your boat depends on it, you may want to rely on a professionally made rod. For those of you who are intrepid enough to want to learn how to do it, we'll give you a quick demonstration. Okay, so now we're going to do a rope-to-chain splice using 3-strand nylon line and galvanized chain. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to whip the line about a foot from the bitter end. I'm using waxed whipping twine, which works well. It's kind of sticky. Holds together well. So there's the whipping. Then I'm going to unlay these lines and tape them individually using a stretchy tape, in this case black electrical tape. I could use rigging tape, but I want to use a vinyl tape that stretches so that I can make a very compact end. And we pull the tape as we're taping it to make it as compact as possible. So now we're going to take 2 strands and run them in the same direction through here. We're going to take a 3rd strand and run it in the opposite direction. Like that. We're going to pull these down tighter, tighter. Now we're using a stainless steel hollow fid. And I always splice towards me. So I'm going to take this and insert it into the line. That's tightly laid. Pass this line through. Okay, so that's one tuck, but that's way too loose. So what I start doing is pulling each of these 3 strands down. Like that. Now you can see I've got the start of the splice. Starting to look more like a splice. There's 3 tucks completed. Okay, so there's a 5-tuck rope-to-chain splice.
Here's where there's a slight difference of opinion. The windlass will work best with a shorter splice since it wraps around the gypsy better and won't skip or jump. But there's some evidence that at least 5 full tucks are necessary to maximize the strength of the splice. We recommend a tapered 5-6-7 splice where you continue for a 6th tuck for 2 strands and a 7th tuck for 1 strand.
Incidentally, this method of splicing is the same one that we used in 1995 when West Marine participated in a test of rope-to-chain splices with New England Ropes and Practical Sailor magazine. I made up about 20 samples of rope-to-chain splices, had New England Ropes pull them to destruction, and then documented the results in Practical Sailor. The end result was that although the test samples all broke at the splice, they retained 80 to 87% of the strength of the rope before breaking.
So Chuck, what about using a rope-to-chain spliced rod on boats that don't have a windlass?
I think that's a great idea. It's secure with no mechanical parts to fail or shackle pins to unscrew. Plus, it passes over anchor rollers and through chain pipes with less hassle. I'd recommend it for anyone that uses a combination rod.